Hello, welcome to our weekly live stream on IT Security Labs. Today I'm very excited to show you something really cool that I figured out working with Elastic SIEM and also completing a CTF machine from Vulnhub. So if you're brand new, we do this every Sunday at 9 p.m. where I try to show you a new skill that I've learned throughout the week. And today I learned about how to create a wait list and also how to monitor these SSH brute force attacks. So as you can see, this is a dead giveaway right now. As you can see on our screen, I'm using Elastic SIEM to detect when someone is brute forcing SSH, and here are a few words that they have tried to sign into my server. I can tell when they tried it and how they did it. So today I'm going to show you using a machine from Vulnhub how I was able to not only detect this attack but also accomplish the attack. So we learned two things today. For those who are interested in hacking, you're going to learn how to hack a machine. For those who are interested in detecting, you're going to see how the detection works. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. And BT, welcome to our live stream. As always, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. I hope your lab setup is going well. All right, so if you're just joining me, we do these live streams every Sunday, and today I'm going to show you how to detect SSH brute force attacks using Elastic SIEM. We are going to be attacking a machine from Vulnhub, and this machine right here is called Broken Gallery. It's a free machine that you can download from Vulnhub, and once you download it, you can put it in VirtualBox. Or if you don't have VirtualBox, you can use VMware Workstation or VMware Fusion. And in this case, I'm using VMware Fusion. And once you download this machine, you can attack it. And what I did for the sake of our demonstration here, I put an agent on this machine. And this agent is reporting to, let's go back to a SIEM solution, which is a security events and log management system that I have right here in the cloud. And this SIEM solution is monitoring logs on this machine. These are sys logs that I'm sending. And as you can see, it's smart enough to see that when something is happening, when failed SSH, for example, is happening, it logs it right here. There is more information that I'll show you at the end that it also logs. That is very interesting, and I can tell you what you can do as a defender to even make this even more useful. Maybe create more alerts and be on the lookout for malicious activity like this. So this is awesome, guys. I hope you enjoy this stuff as much as I do. All right, so right now let's get started. I don't want to waste a lot of you guys' time. First thing first, let's download this machine from Vulnhub. You just download either one of these, it doesn't matter. And once you download it, unzip it, then open it with VirtualBox or whatever system that you have. In my case here, let me show you my machine is loaded in VMware Fusion, which is a Mac version of VMware Workstation. It's called Broken. It's running in this lab, which is isolated, and this lab has its own firewall, which is a pfSense firewall right here. And I'll show you once I sign in to Kali what this firewall is doing for me. But this is a great way of isolating these vulnerable machines from your home network for a quick setup for attacking them. And then let's go in. So I'm going to sign into my Kali Linux here. So once you sign in, I think I mistyped my password. All right, so now we're just signing into my Kali Linux, which somehow I cannot type my password today. I don't know why, but yeah, once we sign into our Kali Linux, first thing that we do is I want to show you my pfSense firewall that I'm running for this small lab. I like to use this firewall because I can manipulate the firewall rules here. And in this case, I went to my status to see my DHCP lists. Let's see. Right now it's showing only Kali, which makes me wonder if my machine is still up online. So let me try to ping it. So it's 105 and it's not receiving data. So this shows me that my machine is actually not online right now. So let's go back and verify why it's not online. Broken. If we go to our settings, network, this is an isolated network right here. And there it is. So this should work. So let's go back here now to our Kali Linux. Show window. If it doesn't work, I might have to restart the machine so it works. All right. So let's restart our broken machine. It might be broken in the literal sense. So let me just do a show window. If I close it like this, this is going to power the machine off. So you get to see how the setup happens from the beginning of this setup here. So the machine is busy. Once I power it on, it should get an IP address via DHCP from pfSense. And as you can see, this is just local to this infrastructure here. Then I have a way of allowing it to communicate with my SIEM using firewall rules between pfSense and my main firewall. That way it's all controlled when traffic is leaving or when traffic is coming back. Okay. So while this machine is starting up, I just wanted to take a look here and see what people are saying. Still searching for the good deal you got for R720 on eBay. Yeah, if you watch my video on that, maybe try to send the vendor, the same vendor that I bought it from, an email and say, hey, can you set me up? Because I think they sell a bunch of them in bulk. So I don't remember the name of the vendor that I bought it from, but I think you can reach out to them and they'll make one for you and ship it to, I think you're in Canada, for you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Thank you. All right. So now we started our machine. It says login here, and just to verify, it's in this network. If we go to our settings, if we refresh this, is this going to show us a new machine? Yes. So now we see that our pfSense, which is running DHCP, now has a new machine called Ubuntu. So this new machine called Ubuntu right here is our attack machine. So we can run net discover, or for me, I just use my pfSense because I already know. So now that we see that it's online and it got an IP address from our pfSense, now if we try ping here, it's now online. So now we can start all of our business in attacking this machine and seeing what we can get from it. All right. So if you just joined, I just want to show you guys a very quick way of us to be able to not only attack a machine, but also monitor it in real time for any type of attacks. In this case, this is an Ubuntu machine. So if you run Ubuntu in your lab environment or at work, this might be a good way of monitoring the syslog data. In this case, what you're looking at is an attack that someone was trying to brute force SSH. In fact, this is a word list that they tried, and I'll show you how I was able to generate this word list from attacking this site right now. So we just got done getting into our machine. We found out that this is the victim machine according to our DHCP server, and we're able to ping it. What I like to do before I start doing any capture the flag machines is I like to put this data in a more organized way. So if you see here, I have a folder called machines. Those who have been watching my videos now are so used to this sequence, right? These are all hack the box machines. But today I created one for us called Broken, because that's the name of the machine today. So let's go to Broken. So now when I start my work attacking this machine, creating word list and everything else, I'll keep everything in this folder. That way when someone asks me a question or when I want to come back, I can come back and see. So I pinged my machine. I know it works. The first part of our CTF or pen test, whatever you want to call it, is to find out more information about this system. We don't know anything about this machine so far. We just want to know, is this thing hackable? And the first thing that I do is I run nmap minus sv to for nmap to enumerate for service versions minus sc, so that Nmap is going to use all the default scripts that comes with it, and I want to output it to a file. I cannot type and talk today, called nmap2 on our machine, which is on 192.168.1.105. So we're going to be attacking this machine, and this is going to just go through the first top 1000 ports. This is not port 1 to 1000, it's the top 1000 ports that are well known. So if we do that, this nmap is going to, we're just enumerating, we're going to the system and saying, hey system, what do you have on the top 1000 ports? And these are only TCP ports, not even UDP ports. So what you want to do, if you want to be thorough, you can run this one so you can get started, then run a more in-depth one with all the ports, 6500 ports, then also run another one for UDP. I also like to run Sparta. Sparta will also do something similar to this. So as you can see, our target system is port 22, which is open, 7.2. I always look at here and for the version of Ubuntu, which is awesome. Allah says you can make it, I like this feedback. You can make it faster with -n and pn, which is awesome. Yeah. So far, I've used this all the time, and it seems to work very well. And as you can see, the SV really worked for us. We now have version information here and some files that we found in this volume here, and we have this version of Apache. So if you are an attacker, you're thinking, well, your brain should be like running right now, is this version exploitable? Is this my way in? I'm looking for the easiest way to break into this machine. I don't want to spend too much time tinkering around. Is any of these images, I see that there's a bunch of JPEGs. Can I run a tool called stag hide? Do they have any information hidden in it? Especially for capture the flag machines, they like to put hidden information there. Can I run stag hide against every file in here? Can I download this? Is this version of Apache even vulnerable? I can just copy this and paste it in Google and say, Google, tell me, can I exploit that? I'm looking for the Ubuntu version, for the SSH version. I see that there's some keys here. No, host keys. Yeah. So while we're here, let's go ahead and open a new tab. Let me run Derp. You all know that I always run Derp, right? 192.168.1.105. So now we're brute forcing all the directories on our system. I want to see if there are even more interesting directories. And as always, when Derp is running, oh, come on, really? Derp didn't find anything? That is very interesting. That's when I end up posting Go Buster. And let's see if this is really just one. Yeah, maybe there's just one. So here, if you go to the site on 192.168, yeah, this is all there is. So Derp is right. There's only this right here. So we have this read.md, which we can open. We have a gallery with a bunch of images of the lights, mountains. So right here, like I said earlier, here are the images that we have in the gallery. I will download these images and run them against stag hide. Stag hide is a wonderful tool that you can use for finding out any information that is hidden in images. In this case, I ran stag hide. I didn't find anything in any of these images. But we just ran Derp right now. All that information that we are running should be recorded in our SIEM solution because we are monitoring the logs from here. So arrange stag hide, there's nothing in here. But for today's purpose, I wanted to teach you something really, something cool that I found out. Let me show you this really cool tool that I found that you can also use for your own hacking expeditions next time. And this is by DJ Ninja. Let me copy it from there and bring it here. And I'll explain what it does. I don't know how to pronounce CEWL. I don't know what that is, but this will create a custom word list for you. So say we tried to bust the directories, we didn't find any directories. We just found a website with just a bunch of images. I went through every image, there's nothing hidden. My last thing was, okay, if I go back to my results, I have SSH. So maybe I can brute force SSH here. But what do I go with? I have nothing. This website is not giving me anything. All it's giving me is these directories. What we can do is we can generate a bunch of words based on everything that is here. Generate a word list using this tool that I was just showing you here, called SEWL, whatever you pronounce it as. And this will generate a word list for us. And as you can see, it says that if you're using Ruby, you get an error. You're going to see that I'll get an error when I run it. But that's a custom word list generator, and they tell us how to run it. Yeah, and here is the option if you're running it in Docker, which is awesome. So let me show you how to run it in this case so we can generate a word list for us. And to save us time, let me do a history. All right, so here is the command that I ran, and I encourage you to spend some time reading the whole documentation for it. But this is the command. Oh, where did that go? Come on. All right, it doesn't want to find my history. Why is this happening? Okay, cool. When I clear my terminal, it's not liking it. So this is the command that we ran. I ran it a few times, as you can see, and I'm going to explain how to use this, because it has saved me a lot of times on Hack the Box, actually, when I was working with a bunch of machines. So what we're doing is, you can run this tool and you tell it the depth to which you want to go in the site. So say you have a website and you want to generate a word list that you're going to use for brute forcing passwords and stuff. You can tell it to go how many layers inside of the website. That's the depth. Then you can tell it the length of the words that you want to generate. Maybe you can say 5 characters in this case. Otherwise, you can say maybe 10 characters. And then it will generate a word list. And in this case, it's named word list 123. Let's just name it 12. Then you point it to the site. This is going to start from the top of the site all the way going in, finding any word that is 5 characters, and it will save it to that word list. And that is really good because sometimes you get your way in. Ignore these errors here, because if I do an ls here, see that I have my words.txt here. If I do a cat word.txt, see that I got a bunch of words from the site. And as you can see, not only did I just get all the words that were matched to the criteria that I put, but also I got 2 of each, one with lowercase and another one for, say, for gallery. I think it gave me Yeah, I thought I generated them with 2. Okay, you can actually then use other tools to even randomize this and say, okay, I want gallery with capital and lower first letter and stuff like that. But this is what we have here. And in addition to that, let's also, as best practice, you also always add the machine name or the host name, because sometimes that can be a username, especially when you hack the box. So let's vi and add our host name in here. And what I normally do when I add my host names, especially when you hack the box, I do this, then I also do this. Then I do this, just in case. Now we have a word list with the words, all the words from our website. So we can use this as our word list for trying brute forcing. Don't brute force a lot of machines on hack the box for SSH. It doesn't work. I've never actually had any chance of it working. So let's not brute force that. So that's our word list, but let's copy that word list to pass.text, because what I want to do is I want to pass the same word list for username and password with Hydra and see if Hydra would work for me. So for Hydra, if you don't know, if you haven't used the Hydra, let's do that. You just type Hydra, and here is the options that you can have. In this case, I want to use uppercase P because it's a password file. And for users, let's see. Let me see what I'm using here. Capital P for password file. I'm trying to see. All right. So now that we have everything here, let's clear the screen. I'll answer your questions as soon as I'm done here. Let me just quickly make sure that I have everything that I need. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that you have those server specs. Those ones are. Let's see. I can answer this quickly. Oh, that looks good. That is a really good server. That's a really good server that you have there. That's a really good server. Let's try this. So Hydra -L for our word lists. So I'm just going to show you the difference here, but since this is the same, it doesn't matter. You can point to the same one, but in most cases you have different ones. So Hydra is going to brute force our service that we specify here, and capital P because it's a password file. I name it pass.text, and any system that is worth mentioning as a SIEM solution should detect when somebody runs Hydra. This is like the most noisy attack that can ever happen on a system. So when you look at our Elastic SIEM solution, we should go and see a bunch of noise generated by Hydra. And then our service, I think, is going to be SSH on 192.168.1.105, and we're attacking SSH. So now let's see. What I'm doing right here, it shouldn't take too long because Hydra goes super fast. But what I just did there is what generated this right here. So my SIEM solution, my Elastic SIEM, because I'm logging what's on the host, was able to pick up that someone was brute forcing, and they tried these words here: Northern, Apache Mountains, Terry, and you saw how I generated this word list that brought up here. And then it will tell me when things are accepted. So here is a password that was accepted, username broken. So if I go back here, let's give this a minute for it to finish. Oh, I have a type on gallery. Okay. Let me just let this go. I'm running this on the same machine that I'm live streaming on, so this might take a minute, but we should be able to brute force it very quickly here. All right, as you can see, it says SSH host login is broken and password is broken. So technically, we could have easily guessed this username and password. So we successfully cracked the password using Hydra. So you already learned two things: to use that SEWL tool for generating a word list, and using that word list to point using Hydra. And in this case, we use SSH. You can use Hydra against a lot of other things other than just SSH, a lot of other services as well. So just remember that. So we have a username broken, SSH. So let's go ahead and SSH using that. So since we broke that username, open a new tab. SSH broken at 192.168.1.105, and the password is broken. All right, we're in. So as you already know, if you've seen me do this capture the flag machines, on command I do this sudo -l. I want to see what can I run as sudo. I don't want even, before I even look at anything, is there anything that allows me? Okay, it looks like I can reboot the system and I can change time and date as root. So that's good. I don't need sudo permission to change time and date, and I don't need permissions to reboot the system. I can run the reboot commands. All right. So if I do -ls -la, I'm just trying to find out more information. What am I working with here? What's here where I landed? And right away of interest is this file, bash history. The reason why you want to look at this file right away is because a lot of administrators do something silly like this. SSH, then they put root at some machine, then they do -p, then they type the password. And you watch that file, you see the password in plain text. It's super easy because sometimes people do that. People also run a bunch of scripts that have privileges that you can go and check. So this is always a good file to view, and it's hidden with this dot here. So that's why you need to do -la. So cat bash history. And if you get lucky and you see something useful in here, you are in luck. So you see this bash history includes some stuff that I did and some stuff that somebody did. In this case, looks like someone was running a script called password policy.shell. I mean, I'm already interested. This is it says password policy. If for any attacker, the most exciting thing is anything that has to do with passwords. We are all for that. So let's find where that file is. I guess it's in here. Let's clear this. Can we catch it from there? All right, it's a simple bash script. So a little understanding of bash, nothing really crazy here. It says day of the week is defined as date plus whatever this is, echo day of the week, and it's referencing that. And if day of the week is equals to 4, then run sudo echo root. Okay, so we're changing the root password. Okay, and we're changing the root password to today is a good day. Okay. Something is seriously wrong with whoever wrote this script. So you're saying if the day of the week is the 4th of the day, so maybe starting Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if it's a Thursday, echo or change the password to today is a good day. This already is problematic on its own right here. So let's see if we can exploit that, because why not, right? Okay, so let's find out what day of the week is it then? Today is Sunday, so I missed the closing. I'm just running that command, see what number it gives me. So it says today is the 7th day. So guess what we can do? We can change, since we also from our sudo -l, we found out that we can run this command and we can change the date as root and no problem. Oh, what is going to stop me from saying, okay, I want this number to be 4. So let me change this to be today, this date to be a Thursday. So let me change the system's date to be Thursday so that this script thinks that it's the 4th day, so that it can reset my password to today is a good day. Then I can be root. So it's that simple. Now you see the path to getting root here. It's super simple, and I think it's clever for this capture the flag, but at the same time, it's a little fun, I think. I believe so. So let's do this. If you don't know how to change time on Ubuntu, let's go back to our bash history again. I think in our bash history, I might have seen some changing of the time. Yes, there is. So today is the 4th. Oh, that was me messing with the time. So let's run our sudo command. Remember, we can only run sudo with sudo permission because it said we can. So let's change this to be Thursday. So if today is the 4th, let's change this to be the 8th. Is that right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. Let's change this to be the 8th. All right. And then let's run that script again. So it thinks that we can. Sudo password for broken. Okay, so broken is all right, but I changed the date. So let me see. Let's go back and check what it thinks today is. Okay, so the day is, let's reboot this machine. When it comes back, it's going to come back with my new date, and it's going to think that it's the 4th day. And once that happens, it's going to change the password to today is a good day. We might as well copy this password to our terminal here. So let's reboot it. Oh, we have sudo permissions to reboot, so we can do that. All right, let's give it a minute, and while that is happening, I'm missing a lot on the chat here. Tectonic, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you on every live stream. You guys are always here. I mistyped gallery. Yeah, you know, when you're talking and typing at the same time, things can be mistyped in there. All right, so I gave my machine a minute here. So let's see if we can SSH back in here. Oh, okay, it's still rebooting. Let's give it a minute. And it's rebooting. If you're just joining us, guys, let me show you a quick recap. We are attacking a capture the flag machine, and at the same time, we are monitoring the machine with our Elastic SIEM. So right now we are at the end of the attack, and once we are done with the attack, I'm going to come to a SIEM solution here, and we're going to see the type of logs that this thing collected during the attack and what the logs look like. Because at the end of the day, as a defensive person, you need to understand what logs look like. These things should be second nature to you. You need to know where these logs not only reside, what type of logging is happening, what's in there, what can be useful for you. So this is a fun way of you familiarizing yourself with what type of logs Linux systems can spew out, and what you can monitor, and how you can monitor it, and how you can detect it. So this is the fun part. All right. So we just rebooted our machine, and we're anxiously waiting to find out, did we become root? So first let's SSH. I hope I didn't break my machine. Yeah, it came back online. So let's SSH is broken, and once it lets us in, uh, 1.105. All right, so saying destination unreachable. Let's find out why. Maybe it's still rebooting. Let me see one more time. All right, we might have to force it to reboot. Give me 1 second. I'm just forcing it to a reboot, and if it comes back up, and we should be able to become root, and we'll be good. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are so kind. All this struggling here, and you're still saying I'm doing a good job. All right. So while we're rebooting our machine and stopping everything, let's go and poke on the logs and see what we have done so far. Because we have caused a lot of. Let's look at our syslogs here for this machine. Let's change in our Kibana to last 7 hours. This is going to give you the logs, including the ones that I did for our testing. And what you're looking at here are just syslogs that we got. First thing first, as a network defense person, you'll be looking and say, wait a second, what happened here? This machine seems to be just going very low, and all of a sudden, around 1830, my machine, actually the time zones are different from where this is. So that's why a lot of things happened here. On this host, what was happening? So now you're already beginning to think, is it possible for you maybe to put an alert here and say, if this reaches a certain threshold, let me know. Maybe you can say, if I reach 3,000 alerts here, events, let me know. So something happened here. A lot of things happened. Let's look at the sudo commands. Who was running sudo commands? When were they running sudo commands? What were they running? You just saw me run sudo commands here. At some point, I ran sudo commands for listing time zones as root. You see, Broken was listing time zones. The command that was ran, setting the date right here. When I was setting the date, you can see who ran it. It was root, and it was also Broken. And we see the times when these commands were ran. Let's look at the SSH logins. This should be interesting because if somebody was brute forcing, you should be able to see here. In this case, we see 644 failed SSH logins. This should alert you. So as a network administrator or a defense person, whatever your title is, this is what should interest you. If this ever happens in your environment, you need this system to give you a phone call, whether you're sleeping at home, you're at a birthday dinner or whatever. Your phone needs to buzz and let you know that something at work is going on. 644 failed attempts in less than a minute in one system. Someone is really hammering on your system. You need to know about this. So that's why I think that being able to look at this, and then it tells us what words were used. In this case, this is when I had the right gallery word. Here are the words that were being tried. People were just bombarding your system with a bunch of words. There was, I didn't even realize there were this many different words. Yeah. Then, of course, you get the logs here. There's more. You see, this is right behind me. You can't see it, but right behind me, we have about 1,000 events of this nature that happened here. So this is what I wanted to show you, that you can know when somebody's brute forcing you. So if you have a bunch of Linux systems, maybe just implement this and let it go. Especially if they have access to the internet, you probably want to know if this is happening on your system. if someone creates a new user on your systems and they have no business creating a user, it should log in. It should log it right here. I didn't create any users, so you didn't see here. But as you can see, these are the three very interesting things. People who are running sudo commands, and if there's any new users that are created. But we still have business to finish here. We need to find out if our machine can come back online. So let's start it up so we can become root. Because it's not the end of this if we don't become root, right? Right. So while it's booting, let's go and see where else can we poke around here. Our SIEM solution, this is a security events and log management system. And what I was showing you was the log management system. You can now use that information that you found out there and create rules here. And as a quick, you can come here and say, if you go to detections, you can create a rule very quickly and say manage detection rules and tell it, if you see these events that exceed this number, create this rule. So you can just create a new rule and specify whatever queries that you want in here. I'm not going to do that today, but it's something that you can do so that not only do you get alerted there, but you can also be part of your SIEM solution to get some rules. But right here, we see that we have a bunch of events that happened. And here is when we were doing our stuff. We can view these events raw in real time, which I think is the most fun. Watch, there it is. And we can see all the different types of things that we did. If a file changed, so right now there's nothing interesting that happened in the last minute, but as you can see, we have the events here. You can see uncommon processes if there are any. In this case, it thinks these ones are uncommon. Authentications, oh, this should be interesting. The red is failure, and you can see when things were failing, and we failed 1,056 times and succeeded 4. So of course this is a big problem. You can also see here that we failed miserably a lot. So this SIEM solution seems to work for us, and it's giving us the information that we need. But as you already know, I'm thinking about my machine here. So let's go back and finish our business. Did it come back? All right, if it doesn't come back online, you know the privilege escalation process. Oh, you see why my machine is not communicating here? This is good. This is good that it happened when you guys are watching. Our pfSense firewall went down. We need to have a firewall working for the communication to complete. Somehow I accidentally powered off my firewall. So that's why I cannot get there. So let's make sure that our firewall comes back online so we can complete the communication. So I was wondering why this was not working all this time. It's because my firewall was down. So there you have it. So if you want to set up this same lab that I have here, this is a simple setup. pfSense for the firewall on VMware workstation. Your Kali Linux connected to the pfSense. pfSense is going to have 2 interfaces. This is how we control internet connection between this lab and everything else. And let me show you pfSense. pfSense has 2 adapters. One adapter is going to be connected to my home network. And then the next adapter is going to be connected to this lab and this lab only. It's called VMnet 9. And then Kali needs to connect to this lab only, which is VMnet 9. And also our broken machine needs to also connect to the same VMnet 9. That way this machine is on pfSense's LAN interface. Then pfSense, we can, if we really didn't want internet connectivity, we just turn off the uplink for pfSense, and this lab is completely isolated. And if we need updates for 2 minutes, we do that. If we need something from the internet for a minute, we do that. Then that's the best way to do this. That's why I like pfSense here. All right, now that we have our firewall back, this should work. If our firewall is back online. All right, it says it's offline. And the easiest way maybe that I can do is make sure this machine now restarts and comes back online. Usually I have two machines, and when one craps like this, I just fire up another one and things seem to work. Watermelon says, you learn a lot from my videos. Yeah, that's the goal. I hope a lot of people are also finding value. And if you're watching these videos and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It tells YouTube that my channel is helping people, and then it encourages more people to join. And it's also good for me to know that this is helping people by seeing the number of subscribers. We've gone to almost 15,000, I think, in a year and a half of starting this channel. So I think things are working. So if you haven't, please like this video and subscribe. All right, one last chance of starting this machine. Then we can see if we become root or not. And then let's go back to our SIEM solution. I wanted to show you one last thing in here. So this is where things happen. If you go to the network tab here, it shows you the different destinations. All right, and we can see if we were monitoring DNS, we'll be seeing DNS events right here. If we had any DNS queries, we can see some flows. I'm also monitoring Apache, the server. Actually, let's look at NetFlow first. You can see that I get really excited about seeing what's going on, because having this knowledge and knowing what's going on in your environment is the best thing. The worst thing that want to happen is you deploy a server, you have no clue how much traffic is going to that server. You have no clue when it's busy, when it's not busy, what's going on in it. You wait on your users to tell you that your server is slow. You wait on someone who is not you. So it is your job, if you are a network administrator, system administrator, to go and figure out what's running on your systems. And monitoring like this, things like this, is going to be very, very critical. So let's put this to last 7 hours. So we are running an Apache server right there. You see, that thing also talks and is spitting out a bunch of logs. This can be an information overload, but you have log level notices. These are useless. The more you play with this, here are the status codes that we have, response codes. This is awesome. And if our users were coming from, say, different geolocations, you see where your people are signing in from. So say if you don't have anyone from China signing into your server, and all of a sudden you see most people coming from China and you have no business coming from there, you'll be alerted as well. So this is just for Apache error and access. Let's discover one more for Apache, then we'll check. Can we see some data here? Can we see some conversation partners? So we have a lot of information. I mean, this thing talks a lot. We can see who our systems are talking to and when they're talking to, and usually, if this is a normal network, you have the number of packets, so who they're sending the data to, and all this information is going to be very helpful for you as a network administrator, or as a system administrator, or as a security person, top end. So I don't want to overwhelm you with data, but just showing you the different options that you can see. And this is not unique to this system. This is most systems that are out there that do SIEM solutions. That's what they do. And your job is to really take time and understand the different types of data, where they come from, what the data looks like, how helpful it can be. Like I showed you the syslog data right here. All right, one last chance of us checking on this system. before we call this quits, and I can answer any of your questions. All right, let's go to Kali. Let's refresh this. Okay, so it's saying our system is online now. Oh, look at all those responses. All right, so now let's SSH. And password is broken. Okay. And remember, we had a password. What was that password? We had a password that we needed to change in there. Change the, let me see if I have any notes, show notes that I might have created. The password says, this today is a good day. Yeah. Let me see. Today is a good day. This is unique. Today is a good all right, so either I'm not typing that right or not. Let's see. Oh yeah, like that, like that. All right, let's copy that. Make sure that we have it to our clipboard so we don't mistype it. There we go. So as you can see, ID, I'm now root. So we escalated our privileges and now we are root. If I do an ls here, I'm in the root directory. So we attacked a machine. We detected, we went and looked at the different types of logs. Super fun stuff, guys. I hope you enjoy this type of material, and if you do, give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. And right now I'll just go through any of you guys' questions because we still have some time here, a few minutes before we end. Let me know any questions that you might have about what I did today or any setup that you have. Just let me know. Otherwise, this is awesome stuff, guys. All right, let me scroll up here. I saw a question about a server earlier. All right, so looks like server is building a lab. I'm already building a lab. We want to build a really nice private cloud for ourselves. So I started a series that should end in a few days or a week or so. And server is an IBM system. I don't know how loud this thing is, but you have 48 gigs of RAM, which is plenty. 72, yeah, that looks good. As long as it's not a power hungry, I think you'll be good. That will do it. Oh, thank you, Tectonic. Actually, in a selfish way, I also learn a lot from doing these things. Like I learn a ton of things, and just sharing with you guys is even more fun. And yeah, you're right. I haven't seen a lot of people who actually just jump in and do it. It also takes a certain level of vulnerability. Like, I'm not afraid to make mistakes in front of you. As you see, my machine wasn't coming back online. I accidentally shut something. You know, if you're not afraid of making a fool of yourself in front of the world in the name of learning, I guess a lot of people want to be perfect. I don't mind being imperfect because I know that I don't know everything, and there it is. I'm building in my Kibana using your videos, but in the cloud. Yes. Quick tip with this cloud lab. This is my cloud lab. You can sign up on the Elastic Cloud with an email address for free, and you get 14 days. 14 days is plenty. And when your 14 days expire, you can extend for another 7 days. So you're looking at 21 days of not setting up anything. All you need to do is point your machines to this thing and send your data, and that's it. And you can just start tinkering around. If you really like it, then you can spend the time and set it up at your house. Then by that time you would know exactly what you need to set it up for, or maybe it's not for you, you can just move on. But 14 days is plenty. Yeah, I agree with you, Tectonic. Let's see. Juniper Blake says I'm tipsy. Yeah, don't drink and hack. It doesn't end well. Oh, by the way, guys, on our channel that you see right here, we have this series, but also become a member. Join my channel, okay? Become a member here. I have a few members that joined, so join my channel, become a member. All the proceeds from this channel come to help me. As you saw my previous video, my server rack is a mess in the basement. My principle is the same. When you are doing a home lab, make sure to do it as frugal as possible. You don't want to be spending thousands of dollars in gear in your home lab. You just want to learn things from these labs and be as economic as possible. Be as thrifty and economic as possible. But when you guys give to my channel, it goes to giving me a nicer looking lab. So when I show the world, at least it's good looking, I guess. But so yeah, subscribe to the channel and also consider becoming a member. And for all those who have become members, I think there's 4 people so far. Let me know if you need any of the log configs, lab configs, or any setup. I'll gladly take some time and make sure that your lab is working and you're not running into any issues. Says, do you have any videos on alerting and maybe sending alerts to SMS or Slack groups? I don't have any videos, but I can show you right here very quickly. Especially if it's in here, there's a very quick way of sending alerts to SMS that I can show you right now. I did create a alerts in Grafana when I was making a Grafana series a year ago, but not in this one. So if you wanted alerts or SMS in this one for things when things happen, for example, if a SIEM event triggered, let's go here, I'll show you. So if a rule triggered in your detection and you have a rule that says bad things are happening, yara yara yara, let's pick one rule and I'll show you where you can set up alerting. Right here you get a few. So say if you detected, let's just go with this unusual web request. You need to edit the rule. You see where it says when the rule fires, do something. Right now it says no action. If you go down here, on each execution, you can select an action here. You can say send me an email, page duty, send it to Slack, or a webhook. And on webhooks here, this is where you can put your custom webhooks if you have other things that take webhooks. If you haven't worked with webhooks, they're super easy to set up. So anything that takes webhooks, you can put it here. Otherwise, Slack or email would also work. So this is where this, at least built in, would do it for you. Oh yeah, you can run the lab in a laptop, especially if your laptop has at least 24 or 30 something gigs. Or even with 24 gigs, you can run, you just be limited to the number of machines if you're running it on the laptop, especially when it comes to running SIEM solutions. Between this SIEM, Elastic SIEM or Splunk, they need a lot of resources for indexing data and processing it in real time. You might hear your fan running depending on how much data you're throwing at it. And also data that you send from systems to your SIEM takes a lot of storage on your device. So if you're running it on a laptop, just keep in mind that you might end up with a lot of data, and the indexing in real time might tax your system. Let's see. What am I saying? I learned a lot that my school don't teach. Now I'm preparing OSCP. I hope I can get the certification. Yeah, from what I hear, the OSCP is super easy. If you spend some time just hacking and stuff like that, well, not super easy, but it's doable if you put in the effort. You just need to make sure that try to understand the concept. Don't memorize things. As long as you know what things are and you know how to Google them, you're good to go. All right, so for those who joined late, we just completed a hack, a Vulnhub machine called Broken. We collected a bunch of logs from the machine into a SIEM solution, and we were able to look at the logs in real time. We saw how you can visualize brute force attacks. We saw the count go up for us here, and we also saw how you can interact with these logs, and potentially you can use that information to create alerts that can wake you up in the middle of the night when things are happening, because you need to be up. So, and in this case, we're just looking at syslog from Linux systems. In this case, SSH, new user logins, that kind of stuff, and also Apache logs. And we saw a word list that I generated using SEWL, whatever this tool is called, and I use that word list to brute force using Hydra, and that's what gave us all this information here. And we were able to escalate our privileges by manipulating a script that somebody created, which I don't know why they would create a tool like that to change the password every day, but watch back and you'll be able to see. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. I do this every single Sunday, and if you are into learning ethical hacking and also are interested in defending, I think this channel is a good place for you to hang out, because we do all kinds of things here, and I hope I'll continue to provide you with more value, because this is something that I always needed before I got my first cybersecurity job as well. Right, I'm going to wait another 2 minutes, so if you have any questions, let me know. Tectonic, what kind of projects are you working on? Say so many projects to do. Curious. Let's change this. All right, so if you guys haven't seen, there's a nice tool called Grafana for visualizing. It shows things like this, like Kibana, but it's super easy to set up. So for our new lab that we're setting up, we're going to forward all of our pfSense firewall logs to Grafana. That is going to be super fun. I can't wait to do it again. I did it a year ago, and it has been a year. I want to do it again so we can visualize firewall logs. I was a system administrator once, and the day that I was able to implement monitoring for my firewall, I felt at ease. I could look at what's going on in my firewall and know exactly what's happening. And just having visibility on your firewall is like the best thing ever. Administering a network and not knowing how much data is going through it, who is talking to what, that is the blindest, most irresponsible thing to do. If you don't have visibility on your firewall and your infrastructure and you are a system administrator, you need to get on it and start figuring out how you can know who is signing into what. If something abnormal happens, that's like, for me, an obsession. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions for me, I just want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope to see you next week, same time, and stay tuned on this channel, subscribe and enable the notification for when I post more lab setup. We're going to set up our pfSense firewall. We are going to set up our virtualization platform, and we're going to start deploying machines and a lot of fun, which is awesome. Tectonic is going to run Elastic pfSense, setting up VMs in a home lab. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and after a while things will get better. After a while you realize you deploy a lot of things very quickly. Guys, have a wonderful night, sleep well, and see you later.